But if you just keep your mouth shut and keep rocking with it, you'll be okay. And it's really not that hard. It's all a mind game. Boot camp, even your A school usually, is just a mind game where people try to act tougher than they need to, or they try to make it sound like if you don't write your name a certain way, the ship's going to explode and everyone's going to die. And you think I'm kidding, but they say things like this, like, oh yeah, I forgot. Don't ever say, you're a roundabout, the fuck? Don't ever say, I'm sorry, petty officer. Don't ever say sorry in boot camp. If you have to, if you have to say my bad, don't say that either. But if you have to say that, train yourself to say belay my last. And that is how you erase what you've just said. If they ask you what it means, tell them that to belay means to secure something. So to belay your last means to go back to a point before you said it. We had a guy that got asked what it meant, and he didn't have a good day. But yeah, that's it for boot camp. Once you get out of boot camp and you go to your school, it usually cools down a bit for the whole, seriousness of the Navy. You start meeting cool people and see how laid back everything is. From boot camp all the way to until you get to your first command, you're probably going to refer to people by their rates. Well, not in boot camp, actually. Take that back. Boot camp, the only thing you're going to say is chief and petty officer. You're not going to know people's rates. Once you get out of boot camp, it will immediately change. Usually, it will become, whatever their rate is. For me, it became STS or FT or anything like that. So if they're like a petty officer first class, a fire control technician, then and you're talking to them, it's like, yes, FT1 or hey, FT1. People don't even care about their names. It becomes their rating. It's like, well, what's his rate? And then you just go from there. And I've never been on this road, so we're going to see where this goes. Oh, that's my mistake. I don't want to go this way. Just keep going. Don't freak out. But yeah, it'll become their rate, and then you go from there. And since this video is getting long, I'm probably going to chop it into a few pieces, so you don't have to sit here and watch it if you don't give a shit about the Navy. Just want to see me ride around Washington. But yeah, that's it. For the extremes, like people say that you get lied to or you get screwed over, that is not true. What you have to realize is that the saying, choose your rate, choose your fate, is absolutely true. I chose submarines, which, if you want to stay in the Navy forever and, you're going to do this, submarines is a really great choice because it's more of a laid-back, tight-knit community. I got to my command the first day, and my LPO, the guy directly in charge of me, came to say hi. We were just kind of shooting the shit. It wasn't really hey, he's high up above me, do what I say or I'm going to stomp your face in. It wasn't like that. And then I met my chief, and it was the same way. My chief's a cool guy. And we've talked about it, like, if you're on the surface Navy, you don't really do that. You don't consort with the higher-ups as much. But the reason for that is, like, if you're on an aircraft carrier, it's you and, I don't know, I honestly, I should know, but I don't know. It's like, 6,000 other people? You're nothing. It's what they say in sub schools. Like you're just a name. They don't know you. They don't know your family. If you're in subs and my girlfriend dumps me, which she did, but anyway, if my girlfriend were to dump me, somebody would immediately notice if I was sad. They'd be like, well, what the fuck's wrong with you? They would say it like that, because sailors. Like, well, what's wrong with you? And then the news will travel. Like, I kid you not, the day I got there, people were asking me different questions. Like, somebody asked me my favorite football team. Somebody asked me my name. Another guy asked me where I was from. 3 separate people asked me this. By the time I ran into our XO, and XO means executive officer, he's a second in charge, he knew damn near everything about me other than, direct personality, talking to me type stuff. Like, he knew my football team and all that stuff, and it's like they instantly pull you in. Now, I'm what you call a nub, since I'm just got there and I'm not qualified anything, but you know, that's how it goes. You instantly become a family and you take care of each other, and hopefully all other commands are like that with whoever, you know, hangs out with whoever. But I can only speak for my very limited experience with my command, because I've only been here, I don't know, like a month. So that's what I've had to experience. And it's all good and fun, you know. You get out of the Navy what you put into the Navy. If you want to do nothing all day and skate, you know, you can do that. You can get away with that. They'll notice, and a lot of times they're not going to tell you anything, but they notice. And you know, when it comes time to do your eval, your evaluation of how you've been working, that's when it's going to reflect. It's going to be like, oh, well, this guy, you know, he shirks his duties, stuff like that. You know, you get like a 3 or something. You'll hear that guy will say, no matter how hard you work, you get screwed. It's like, no, you didn't work, so you got screwed. If you're the guy that busts your ass and, you know, hey, chief, what can I do for you? Hey, LPO, what can I do for you today? What's on the agenda? You know, they'll notice that too, and you'll get kudos for that, and it'll reflect when you do your evals. I don't need gas. I don't even know where I'm at either. Scenic beach. Yeah, that sounds good. So it's all about what you put into it, and it's very important to realize early on. You're gonna hear it so much that it's not the real Navy. In boot camp, you're gonna hear it. At your A school, you're gonna hear it. You're just gonna hear it over, and you're gonna start to think that the real Navy does not exist, and it's gonna continue for a while. And the reason they say that is because a lot of times teachers and instructors and whatnot, they're all, you know, they're hard on you for a reason. So you're gonna hear it. You know, this isn't the real Navy. This is just what you got to get through. And like I said, that's the mind game. That's the mind game that you have to get through in order to you get to the job. You know, I've been at my command, and you know, being new in subs, you know, you get volunteered a lot. Ignore what I'm doing. You get volunteered a lot for you know, stupid duties. You know, you'll think they're stupid. Oh, I gotta go clean the floor. It's like, whatever, go clean the floor then. You're the new guy. The new guy before you had to clean the floor. Don't complain about it. Just do it. The faster you do it, the faster they'll stop making you do that stuff. And there's a lot of people that are negative that don't look at it that way. They look at it like, oh, this guy hates me. Oh, my chief hates me. You always hear the complaints, and it's stupid. As I mentioned, I'm sonar in well, I don't think I mentioned sonar, but I'm a sonar tech for submarines. So my school was a year. So like I said, I just got to my command, my very first command in Washington here. But I was in school for a year, so I could go out to a boat or a ship. I'm sorry, we call them boats. Submarines are boats. You could go out, I could go to a ship and talk to a boatswain's mate, and that dude's been working his actual job. He's been there at his ship for a year. You know, if we left boot camp at the same time, and I've been in school, so it's kind of like he's got more experience than me. But at the same time, you know, I've been around the Navy and dealing with the harder. I call it harder because, you know, when you're always around people that are watching you and grading you, it's different.